Hello everyone, this is Babamots. Welcome to some more Homeworlds game commentary. This is a match between Dread Poet Jeltz and Crit1Calends. Um, Jeltz, I am pretty sure they have not been featured on the channel before. Just looking through past games, I started to notice their name pretty frequently. They've played 50 something games on Board Game Arena, so they've been around a little, and here they're playing Crit. And I know that Crit is pretty good, so let's see what Jeltz can deal out. Jeltz goes first, picks a red banker. Crit takes a yellow fortress. Still have to think about what these things are called sometimes. Okay, Jeltz, I think wisely, picking small blue right away, matching their own small blue star. Crit does the same. Jeltz doesn't go for that first medium, and as I'm watching this, I'm trying to judge a little bit. Are there signs that Jeltz is actually a brand new player who's doesn't quite know what's up? The choice to not take that medium blue makes me wonder a little bit. When sometimes I start doing a commentary and then don't finish it and don't release the video because if somebody plays poorly. But we'll see. We'll keep going here. Now Jeltz takes the medium. Crit trades for yellow. Jeltz does the same. Crit builds the medium blue. So does Jeltz. Okay. So are we moving toward a standoff in the blues or a shopping spree? I think here, neither player is going to want to shopping spree the blues because they'd have to end up with too many blues at home and they'd lose a star. Since both players have taken the medium yellow, either one could reach the other's home from the colony. So no shopping sprees, and I think this is a deadlocked blue. Nobody wants to build the medium because the other person would get the large. I'm not even sure that Crit spreading out their blues is going to change that. It makes the shopping spree more viable for Crit, though they'd leave their homeworld without a mothership. They could reinforce before Jeltz could invade, I think. Not that Jeltz has any red anyhow. Okay, Jeltz takes a green 2, so does Crit. Yeah, greens are almost gone. So this is always a funny thing to me that it's so much better to have 3 greens than to just have 2 at this point in a game. Jeltz can spread out their greens and factory build the last G2, and Crit doesn't have that option. Well, I suppose they could, but they'd leave themselves with 3 in one system, and that's likely to be dangerous. Okay. And although it's okay, Jeltz doesn't have any green close enough, so Crit could leave 3 at a system and still be safe. Jeltz, though, trading out for first red ship. Crit matches. All right, do we resume building the greens is my next question. No, Jeltz spreading out the red. Crit taking the green. I think I like the green build better than Jeltz spreading out, just because the reds don't lead us to bigger ships, but the greens do. There we go. Crit spreads out. So does Jeltz. Crit's going to get that last G2, and then they will have a factory. Yeah. All right, but Jeltz has a factory already. Well, Crit took out the last green, which finalizes the factory for Jeltz, and they could take 2 ships of. I mean, they can really pick their colors as long as they don't build a blue back at home. Of course, if they build a blue, then Crit gets a large. Okay, yeah. One of each. One each of red and yellow, I think, is the best. Well, two reds would have been okay. I don't think Crit would have wanted to overpopulate there. Okay, Crit also looking at a factory. I don't think the factory is actually a good idea for Crit here, since Jeltz can build a Y3 at this point. I think Crit's going to take it back. No? Huh. Surprises me. Oh, well, they opened up the Y3s, but they also opened up the B3s. So Jeltz can take a Y3, but then Crit gets a B3. I guess that's not so bad. Let's... Oh, well, yeah, okay. Jeltz, I forget we have factories still. Jeltz gets a Y3 and a B3. And Crit, I think... Well, my thought before was that Crit wanted to build that B3, but if Crit doesn't spread out, Jeltz may decide it's a good time to sacrifice the Y3 and overpopulate Crit's Homestar. I think Crit needs to spread out. Yeah, okay. Um, Whatever worries I may have had about Jeltz not giving us a good show are gone. Uh, Jeltz seems to be holding their own just fine. All right, what do you do here? So Crit now is the one who's threatening a Y2 sacrifice, send a little yellow into Jeltz's home to wipe out Jeltz's spare large ship. Although even then, Jeltz would be ahead by a large. Um, but if Jeltz did want to prevent that and prevent Crit from building that B3, I might suggest sacrificing the Y1 to move the B3 over here so that if Crit builds the B3, it'll have to be where it's also in danger of being overpopulated with another yellow sacrifice. But let's see what Jeltz actually likes. Oh, gosh, why am I so blind? There was another Y3 in the bank, and Crit could have built that safely. And so I think Jeltz is probably wise to discover that as a star. Let Crit get that B3, even as a factory build. But don't let him have that yellow. Good. Yeah, I favor Jeltz's position here for sure. Up in material, up in mobility. Especially once you spread out your yellows. Although red's the last color left, and Jeltz is going to need to spread out those reds. Shouldn't, well, there aren't a lot of stars left to take is the trouble. Okay, Crit thinking about trying to overpopulate Jeltz's flagship. Or just spreading out. Yeah, Crit has more room to build red in. Oh. Spicy. Sacrificing the G2. Oh, that was a large yellow, wasn't it? It was funny when they discovered that that Y3 star at first. I thought, ooh, looks like an investment, but there were enough yellows still in the bank that I wasn't sure they'd ever get to cash in. Okay, yeah, they get the Y3 cashing in. They are the banker after all. Okay, at least they didn't want to rebuild their G2 because it would put their mothership in danger of overpopulation. But they've now got 4 larges to 2. Does Crit want that? No, they don't want the factory. They're double building the red. They get another large. So this, I think, is a good choice for Crit. Jeltz doesn't have room to build one of those R3s. What's Jeltz up to? Y2 sacrifice. They might want to invade 2 colonies or something. Yeah, there we go. And even though they abandoned that Y3 star, since they did a Y2 sacrifice, the Y3 isn't available to build. Not that Crit would actually want to right here. Crit might have tried to defend this colony with the Y3 build, but it would just get captured. Well, it could get captured, but then Crit could overpopulate it. Anyway, let's see. Crit sacrifices G2. Okay, yeah, not bad. Yeah. That's actually quite a good defense. That makes me seriously doubt whether Jeltz's invasion was well-founded. Crit builds 2 yellows in Altair. They overpopulate the invader. So they sacrifice the green, which prevents it from being captured. Building the yellows takes care of the other invasion. Okay, yeah, really good thinking from Crit. And Crit has evened things up quite a bit. It's 3 larges to 3 now. Crit has 4 mediums. Jeltz just has 2. 3 smalls to 3. In material, Crit is ahead. Jeltz has a Y3 in a more forward position, though that's not much good for building, and it's in more danger of overpopulation since it occupies a star of its own color. Jeltz has a nice healthy colony that can build 3 colors. Crit can only build 2. Crit only has the 1 yellow ship. I'd put it pretty close to being dead even here. Yeah, Jeltz has a more forward, more economical position, but Crit's got a little more material. Pretty neat. Oh no, Crit took it back. Boy, I cannot imagine something better than that here. They've got something better. I don't see it. Sacrifice the G2. No, they just wanted to reconsider. Okay. And they commit. Yep. Jeltz, I think, has the right idea. Spread out those reds. Prepare to build. Crit also wants to prepare to build. Jeltz builds the R3. They're in that colony. Naturally. Crit. I'm interested that Crit decided to build that R3 at home instead of in the colony. In the colony, it would have had that R3 could have been traded for a Y3. Crit still has an R3 here in Altair that they could trade for a Y3, but doing so would leave them with no reds in that colony, so which takes away their opportunity to build red there. And just generally, as I've said before, I don't like trading or moving the last ship of a color in a colony where I'm trying to build stuff as a rule. Okay, Jeltz trades green for yellow back at home. That brings them back down to 1 green ship. Of course, Crit also only has 1. I think having yellow at home is generally healthy. Crit trades. Okay, they trade their blue. Nice. Trades their B3 for Y3. Makes this a much healthier colony, and importantly, Jeltz has got no place to build that B3. Okay, Jeltz with a yellow shopping spree, cleaning out the yellows and just neglecting that last build. Yeah, I guess that's okay. It gets rid of their last green ship, but it makes sure that Crit can't do anything tricky with the yellows, I guess. Okay. Crit now. Is this too early? I think this is too early. Crit going for the blue star. So the plan here is that if Jeltz captures this invading B2, Crit just moves in with the B1 to make 4 blues in Jeltz's home, overpopulating the star, and Crit has plenty of red, but Crit won't have their yellows in place. This demolition will connect the small stars to Jeltz's home. And so Crit will have 3 reds connected to Jeltz's home, but Crit doesn't have any yellow in these systems, and they've only got a Y2 to sacrifice. So they're only prepared to get 2 reds into Jeltz's home after they blow up the blue star. I think they needed a couple more turns to get this set up. Let's see if they commit. They do. All right, does Jeltz capture, or do they give Crit the opportunity to capture these little guys and start being annoying? Even better. Yeah, run away the blue. Yeah, I like the runaway pretty well, actually. Well, trading for green. It also, okay. Those were both very good thoughts from Jeltz. Discover that B3 as a star so that Crit can't build it. Or trade the little blue for a green so that Crit doesn't have enough blue in the area for the overpopulation. Good thoughts. Let's see what Jeltz commits to. They commit to the trade. The trouble with leaving these guys in the bank is Crit could sacrifice the G3 to double build the blues and have a enough blue for the overpopulation. Crit might also sacrifice red to capture the little Jeltz's little home ships. Crit has more red than Jeltz does. So if it comes to sacrificing red for double captures repeatedly, then Crit will come out on top. Unless, of course, if Crit sacrifices R2 and Jeltz sacrifices R3 to capture all 3 of the ships, then I think Jeltz would be in a good position. Okay. Crit, though, sacrificing the green for 2 builds. Okay, yeah, that's good. Keeping the B3 back where it can be used in the future, just building the B1 in Jeltz's home, planning to use the B1 that they already put in position for the 4th blue. That's good. Yep, I like it. That's an improved invasion plan in a lot of ways. Just moving in that B1, I think that's not good enough. Well, it's going to be more costly because now, with this approach, if Jeltz captures both of these invaders, Crit has to use their B2, sorry, their Y2 to move in a B3 from over here in this colony to Jeltz's home. Although I guess the other way they were sacrificing a G3. No, but they got a B3 back. That's seems okay. I don't like this as well. All right, but Crit commits. Jeltz, I think you should capture both of those. Oh. Interesting. Building the Y3 instead. Yeah, it's not in danger of overpopulation. But it leaves, since Crit still has these blues, they can sacrifice the green instead of the yellow to bring the last of the blues in. And they'll just build the little blue in Jeltz's home, and they'll build the B3 over here, and they won't even go down on material. And Jeltz doesn't have enough blue to destroy Crit. And Crit has way more red, so it can't be a direct assault. I don't think Jeltz is close enough to a counterattack to really make that Y3 build a threat. I don't care for that. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, Crit, I'm expecting to sacrifice the G3. Oh, now they're looking at captures. Well, they passed up the opportunity to capture before. I'm surprised they're doing it now. At least they were thinking about it. Okay, the fact that Jeltz, so Crit is looking at delaying now. The fact that Jeltz has not captured either of these blues yet means that Crit doesn't have to hurry into destroying the star. Until Jeltz captures something, um, it will take Jeltz 2 turns to clear out those blues, and Crit can continue to delay and do other things. If they want to. Okay, Crit thinking now about the double small capture. And that's pretty, it can be pretty darn good to have that many ships in your opponent's home. Jeltz, I think, needs to capture some of these back. They're in check, in fact, at the moment. Oh, no, they're not. There aren't enough yellows in the bank to build. I was thinking Crit sacrifices G3 for some builds and overpopulates Jeltz's mothership, but there actually aren't any yellows to build, so that's not so bad. Um, it's still very bad to have this many invading ships in your home, though. Just causes all kinds of trouble. My inclination is to sacrifice the R3 and capture both blues and, say, the green. Counter invasion at a colony. It's an interesting idea. Jeltz commits to that, huh? Well, yeah, Crit can't actually win with this invasion fleet. Just makes me uncomfortable to see it still there. Let's see what Crit does. They pick B2 sacrifice to make a blue. Okay, that would help them with the overpopulation of Jeltz's home. Okay, and what's your last trade? G1. Well, let's let them settle down and make their choice here. Oh, the build. Okay. G3 sacrificed for some builds. There are lots of interesting options here, and I don't think we've got time to go through them all. So let's just see what Crit settles on. They definitely want the star. Okay. That's not something you see every day, destroying a star with a blue sacrifice. So they ended up sacrificing that blue that was at the invaded colony, trading the green in Jeltz's home for blue for the homeworld overpopulation, and then trading red for green in the invaded colony. So looks like Crit is wanting to send this supernova. Well, okay, have they got the supernova on their mind, or have they want to sacrifice a relatively small ship to build the yellow in Jeltz's home, trying for a fleet catastrophe? Yeah, we're at a ticklish position. Yeah, that might just be throwing chaff in the air to cause confusion. Because I think Crit should not be looking at overpopulating the yellow flagship. I mean, Jeltz can just capture this yellow for one thing. I think what Crit would really like to do, I think Crit would hope that Jeltz would do something, anything rather than capture this little yellow. If they do, Crit doesn't actually use this little yellow. It doesn't use the fact that it's in Jeltz's home to their advantage. They sacrifice it to bring over a red. And then they've got the Y2 available to bring in the other two reds. But if Jeltz captures that little yellow, I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, yeah, Jeltz sacrifices to capture both. I think that's a pretty good choice. Okay, Crit now. There we go. Now, Crit's got... Oh, no. Crit, the homeworlds aren't connected. I keep thinking that the homeworlds are connected. Just because a star blows up doesn't mean the homeworlds are connected, folks. I kept thinking, oh, well, Crit just needs to move one red in. Oh, I probably blathered about that for a while, didn't I? Yeah, I was saying sacrifice that little yellow to bring over one red. You probably thought I was crazy because I was thinking that, oh, then they'll sacrifice the Y2 and bring over two reds. Yeah, homeworlds aren't connected. So Crit is still a ways out from having the win here. I think moving the yellow forward is probably a good step. Crit's going to want more yellow, I think. Jeltz would like to take it out of commission. Okay, if Crit now, yeah, start getting some red on the front line. That's getting very close to what they need. Jeltz. How does Jeltz defend this? They can do something desperate, like overpopulating Crit's reds. If they must. Jeltz just holding on to this much yellow, though, is pretty strong. Could be hard for Crit to finish their Doomsday Machine. No. Crit... So at this point, I think what Crit needs to do is move their R3 to a little blue star. That leaves both of their colonies. Okay, I'm gonna draw a picture. Okay. This moves to a new little blue star. Both that colony and Altair can't be invaded with large ships. They're defended with larges. And then Crit on their next turn moves in the R3, which Jeltz has got to respond to. For the win, then they sacrifice the Y2 to move in the red and red. And Jeltz, I think, needs to do something to interrupt that process. Spreading out the reds, I think, is not good enough. Let's see if Crit starts advancing. No. They trade for a blue? Ah, I think that's fatal. If Crit trades for blue here, Jeltz sacrifices Y3 to move in blue and blue. And then they win on their next turn. Oh no, that would just be a draw. If they sacrificed their Y3, no, the homeworld still wouldn't be connected. Oh no, that is a win. I was thinking that arrow was... Okay, sacrifice the Y3 to move in this yellow. this yellow, and this yellow for the win. Yeah, I think this is suicidal. Okay, Crit took it back, builds the G3. That's safer, but Crit, I think, should be going on the offensive. If there's something wrong with moving the R3 forward, I'm definitely not seeing it. Jeltz builds some red. Or spreads out the yellows. I guess they're a little worried about. That looks to me like Jeltz, especially since they moved yellow to a system where they already had a yellow, it looked to me like they were worried about getting overpopulated with yellows, but there is not enough yellow left in the game for Crit to get enough yellow to overpopulate. It's tied up in stars and Jeltz's own ships. And Crit now moving a little red to Jeltz's colony just to get captured. I don't see the value in that at all. I took it back. Okay. So Crit, this looks to me like Crit has the idea. They from this position they moved out the little red. I was saying they should needed to do the R3 because with the little red, oh, you know what? The little red, I take it back. I think the little red is better because not only does it not matter that if that colony gets invaded, it's tempting, it's distracting. Jeltz might see that and say, oh, that's a little red. I can just invade that colony and threaten to capture it. When in reality, if Jeltz invades that, then Crit comes in, Crit wins. They bring in the R3, which Jeltz has got to capture. And so Jeltz's invasion is nullified, and then Crit sacrifices the R2 for the Y2 to move in the other two reds. Okay, yeah. If you can make two equally sound moves, but one is much more likely to make your opponent make a mistake because it looks like a bad move, then do that one. Okay. Jeltz now I think has got to do something really drastic. The only thing I see offhand for Jeltz is to sacrifice a Y3 to move two reds into Altair to overpopulate. I don't see another way offhand that they can save their star. Sacrifice Y3. Yeah, Jeltz sees it. Okay. So anything I may have said about not being sure that Jeltz was up to snuff, yeah, I think they're playing just great. Although, so that, and good on Crit, realizing, of course, that Jeltz has no no red left anywhere. This leaves Crit, though, with nothing but two greens in their homeworld. And if Jeltz can just get one more green, they'd have the makings of a bluebird. Jeltz could, for example, trade their B2 for G2, put Crit in check. Better might be, what if Jeltz sacrificed the B2 to trade, I want to say sacrifice the B2, trade something for green, though it can't be here. You don't want it to be your home ship because you don't want to make it a draw, but also use the other trade to get a red to nullify this invasion. Something like that would be really neat. Sacrificing the B3. Just moving in the G1 isn't good enough. It'll just get captured. Oh, doesn't... Yeah. Ooh, really? Crit thinking about leaving their homeworld without a mothership? They don't have a... Oh, sure. That'll work just fine. Um, Crit doesn't have enough green to overpopulate right away, and at this point, uh, oh boy, what a interesting position. A fun position anyway. If Crit commits to this, they've shot themselves in the foot. Jeltz just sacrifices Y2 to overpopulate. Crit's yellows, and Crit's left themselves without a mothership. Even though Jeltz doesn't have a red, that's still spooky. Yeah, Jeltz has got to overpopulate those yellows. Otherwise, Crits gets in too fast. Oh, and they did it with the they did it with the Y3, and they can also move in the mothership. They can move in a flagship to take advantage of Crit's lack of mothership. That is. Trouble with that being that Jeltz doesn't have any red. So if Crit just recalls their mothership, then Jeltz is going to have to run away again. Yeah. Okay, Jeltz. Now what do you do? Trading for green? No, that's just an invitation for Crit to build green and overpopulate you. That's no good. No, they commit to it. Ah! Crit just... Okay, cleaning out more reds. Really? Okay. That's fascinating to me. What would have been wrong with simply... Well, I guess this is better. Okay, this is better, but I don't know why Crit wouldn't just um, overpopulate the green invader. It makes me nervous. I feel like Jeltz might have a tricky way back into this now. Sacrifices Y2. Well, let's see what they commit to. No, okay. Yeah, because this way, Jeltz still has two large ships. Um, I think Crit might have been better off building green to overpopulate back there. Okay. Um, well, this is interesting. Um, but really, all Crit needs is a Y2 to take this home. Yeah, and they've got it now. So Jeltz trades for R2. I don't think that's going to be good enough. Crit can move in. Yeah, if they do the two reds now. And Jeltz knows it's over. Okay, wow. Well, I think that was a really good performance by Jeltz. I would be interested in seeing more of their games in the future. And of course, congratulations to Crit on a game well won. Um, Messages, lessons to learn from this game. The thing I think I was most surprised by was that both players let the embassy in Jeltz's home stay for so long. And I guess it's something that I've known for a while, but haven't really put a name to. That it generally takes 2 turns to capture and then remove enemy ships that have come into your home threatening an overpopulation. And since it takes 2 turns, if your opponent could bring in the rest of the overpopulation in one, there's no point in capturing. But if there's no point in capturing, then there's no point in rushing the completion of the overpopulation if you've got other things that seem more pressing. Um, anyway, yeah, fun game. Thank you all for watching.